Well, just what's kind of been your biggest takeaways from the first couple of days of fall camp?
I think it's been good. It's obviously good to get back out here with all the guys when you're actually playing football again. I think we're we lost 23 seniors, so we're young, but we're all very hungry, and I think that just rises the level of competition. And it's just been fun to watch. We're only in day 2. We got a long ways to go, but it's been cool to see it unfold.
And been playing under Sturbeck, what's kind of stood out the most for him as an OC?
Yeah, we're switching some things up, but not dramatically. We're trying to be more balanced, run game and pass game. He's trying to get the playmakers the ball, and as a tight end, I love it because he loves the tight ends as well. So there's a lot of different new kinks we're doing in the pass game, but primarily we're going to be the same, offensive team. And he's also, a really, personable guy. He loves his players, and what I like about him too is he, coached at Montana Tech, so he knows, the state of Montana. He knows the Cackers rivalry a little bit, so that's helped a lot.
The tight end position is obviously one of importance for Montana State, some big names obviously over the last couple of years. So how have you guys tried to continue to hold up that standard?
Yeah, it's been cool to play with a bunch of great players. I think we're obviously a really young group, but we know there's guys that are going to need to step up, and watching the standard that's been laid before us, whether that's Derek Snell, Trade Pickering, Lonergan, Rohan, all those guys, we know that we're going to be leaned on in games, and it's our duty to this team and ourselves to uphold that.
Anything you personally took away from last year?
I think last year was a great ride. Going to the national championship. Some of the best memories I'll ever have in my life was on that team. I think we learned a lot, and we kind of diagnosed it in the Cats Council, some things that maybe lacked, and what maybe led to that loss at North Dakota State in the national championship game. But overall, a great year. But like a lot of guys have probably been saying, we left some stuff out on the table, and we're just trying to close those gaps as much as possible to finally get us over that hump.
I guess this current tight end group, you, Hunter, Rocky, everybody, I guess, what do you think of this group, and who's been standing out so far?
I think we're pretty young. I think we're all hungry, like I've said before. We're all, pretty athletic. We all like, being physical in the run game, which is what we need. But we all, can make big-time plays. And I think the guys that have stood out to me the most, Hunter, Rocky, also Lubens, Valson from Washington. He's made huge strides, especially from the spring. And, watch him make plays out here. He's definitely probably one of the most athletic guys we have in the room. And, he can jump high. He can make some pretty crazy athletic plays. So it's been fun to watch.
There's obviously advantages to having so many leaders like last year, but what are the advantages of having such a young team?
I think, we know what that standard is looking at those older guys, but also it's like we have to go do it ourselves now. It causes us to grow maybe faster, mature faster, but you want that responsibility as a younger guy if you get that opportunity to lead this team and to set an example for the new freshmen. And I think that's just been good, in our mindset approaching fall camp and approaching the season.
What's it like working with a group of quarterbacks and the competition going on there this camp?
Oh, it's been great. They're all good players. They're all slightly different in each of their own ways, but they're all good dudes too outside the football field. And they're all very smart as well, so they might see stuff different, but at the end of the day, it's been fun to watch the battle, and it'll be all fall camp kind of thing.
Sturbeck joked about Bozeman tight ends and how both high schools keep producing such great tight ends. So what do you have to say about that, and just your pride in representing Bozeman's college?
Yeah, I think it's Coach Sturbeck is right. Bozeman is tight end U for pumping out tight ends here. I think it just goes to show that Bozeman, the city, we're try to be as blue collar as we can, and that we really hang our hat on being physical. And like all the guys on the team from Bozeman and obviously the state of Montana, we pride ourselves on being physical, trying to be that dominant group. But being able to play for my hometown team has been great. Go down Main Street, you run into people, stuff like that. It's been fun. Yeah.
What stood out most about Justin so far in his brief time here?
I think his knowledge of the offense. Like, he kind of came in and was asking a bunch of questions right away, calling me about certain formations and why do we do this. You know, his eagerness to learn the offense, but as well as he's a hard worker. He's one of the hard workers guys on the team. You know, when we do our Pete's Hill run, when we run the hills, he's the first guy to lead us. And, you know, he wants to be that leader, and he definitely has those leader characteristics. And it's been fun to watch, and, you know, he's always pushing guys all around him to be the best they can, and that really shows.
And then just lining up next to guys like Titan and Cedric, what kind of stands out most about their abilities?
I mean, first and foremost, they're big dudes. Yeah, they're both different in their own ways. You know, Titan's a vet, and you know, his knowledge of the football game is definitely there more. You know, we have slight conversations where we're on the same page, but there's also stuff, you know, with Cedric where we have to communicate a little more, but both are, you know, dynamic in their own way on each side. And when we do, you know, triples or combo blocks together, it definitely makes my job a lot easier having those two guys to play with.